Today, we dig into a question that gives us a lot to think about. And what you find might not be what you expected. There's more than one side here, and each one is worth hearing. Welcome back to Minseo MMA. Let's get into it. Stay with us to the end. Islam Makhachev throws shade at Charles Oliveira as the UFC 330 fight approaches. 1. Islam Makhachev submitted Charles Oliveira in their previous fight at UFC 280. 2. Fans speculate Oliveira's training could give Garry an edge in UFC 330. 3. Makhachev remains unfazed, dismissing national rivalry narratives. 4. Makhachev boasts a professional record of 28 wins and 1 loss. Islam Makhachev is throwing shade at Charles Oliveira, taking a jab at his role in training Ian Garry for UFC 330. Makhachev claims Oliveira will only show Garry how to tap out quickly, referencing their past fight where Makhachev submitted Oliveira at UFC 280. Fans speculated Oliveira might give Garry an advantage, but Makhachev remains unfazed and dismisses any notion of a national rivalry. The anticipation builds as we see a fighter celebrating in the octagon with 2 UFC championship belts. This image captures the live event's energy, reminding us of both the glory and pressure that come with high-stakes fights like this upcoming bout between Makhachev and Garry. Here we have another triumphant moment as a fighter holds a championship belt amidst a cheering crowd. The lights and energy of the arena serve as a backdrop to the passion and dedication each fighter brings to the octagon, much like what we expect to see at UFC 330. This image captures a fighter celebrating with 2 championship belts after a victory, surrounded by an enthusiastic crowd. It's a powerful reminder of the elation and achievement that define these moments in the UFC, resonating with what Makhachev aims for in his upcoming fight. Here, a mixed martial artist poses with a UFC championship belt, smiling and raising a finger in celebration. This moment highlights the pride and joy fighters feel in achieving such milestones, something both Makhachev and Garry will be aiming for at UFC 330. A fighter poses with 2 championship belts, showcasing his achievements in the UFC. His serious expression implies the dedication and hard work that led to his accomplishments, echoing the intense preparation both Makhachev and Garry are undergoing for their fight. Standing in an octagonal cage, a mixed martial artist raises one finger in victory. The crowd's energy adds to the atmosphere, underscoring the significance of this triumphant moment. Both Makhachev and Garry are undoubtedly seeking similar adulation in their upcoming clash. In the ring, a fighter gestures for silence after a match, flaunting his muscular build. The respect and authority he commands are evident as referees and officials surround him. This dynamic echoes the control Makhachev intends to maintain in his bout with Garry. A male mixed martial artist stands in the octagon, raising one finger in a gesture of celebration after a victory. The lights and energy of the arena frame this moment of triumph, much like the atmosphere expected when Makhachev faces Garry. In a close-up, a fighter signals for silence with his finger to his lips while in a fighting stance. The arena setting reminds us of the intense focus and strategy involved in each match, which will be critical when Makhachev and Garry meet in the octagon. A shirtless fighter raises his hand in victory within a fighting arena, likely after a match. This image highlights the physical and emotional exertion required in MMA, a testament to what both Makhachev and Garry will endure in their upcoming fight. Quick pause. If Minseo MMA is speaking to you, take a second to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss what's next. Thanks for watching. Now, back to it. An MMA fighter with tattoos stands in the octagon, arms raised in celebration. The arena lights and spectators capture the event's excitement and intensity, much like what fans anticipate for the Makhachev vs. Garry fight at UFC 330. A fighter with tattoos and a distinctive hairstyle celebrates in the octagon, displaying his excitement during a UFC event. His elation is palpable, showcasing a personal victory that Makhachev aims to replicate against Garry. A muscular fighter with blonde hair and tattoos smiles and claps his hands in the MMA setting. His excitement is infectious, demonstrating the camaraderie and passion that define the sport and which will be on full display at UFC 330. Smiling broadly, a muscular fighter with tattoos raises his arms in celebration, likely after a hard-fought victory. This moment captures the joy and relief of winning in a competitive MMA contest, feelings both Makhachev and Garry are chasing. A smiling fighter with chest tattoos stands in the octagonal cage, surrounded by a cheering crowd after a match. The electric atmosphere is a testament to the excitement of MMA, a vibe expected when Makhachev and Garry step into the ring. A victorious mixed martial artist celebrates in the octagon, raising his arms in triumph after a match. This image captures the culmination of hard work and determination, embodying what both Makhachev and Garry strive for in their upcoming fight. A muscular fighter with blonde hair and tattoos stands in a fighting stance inside an octagonal cage, ready for a match. The cheering crowd adds to the anticipation and excitement, much like the energy surrounding the build-up to UFC 330. After a fight, a shirtless mixed martial artist with tattoos celebrates, showing determination and raised hands. The cage and arena highlight the intensity of this sport, reflecting the challenges Makhachev and Garry will face at UFC 330. A male fighter with short blonde hair and tattoos stands in an octagonal cage, preparing for a match. His focused demeanor highlights the seriousness of the competition, much like the focus we anticipate from Makhachev and Garry. A fighter with blonde hair and visible tattoos on his chest looks focused in a competitive setting. This image highlights the mental preparation required for success in MMA, a testament to what Makhachev and Garry will bring to the octagon. Quick pause. If Minseo MMA is speaking to you, take a second to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss what's next. Thanks for watching. Now, back to it. A young man in a blue and black athletic jacket poses confidently with fists raised in an urban setting. This image captures the spirit and readiness of a fighter outside the ring, akin to the mental state Makhachev and Garry aim to achieve. A fighter is being interviewed in the octagon after a match, showing signs of exertion and excitement. This moment highlights the raw emotions that follow a high-stakes fight, emotions expected to run high at UFC 330 between Makhachev and Garry. A male mixed martial artist celebrates in the octagon after a fight, showing his muscular physique. The crowd and event backdrop emphasize the grandeur of the moment, a feeling both Makhachev and Garry hope to capture in their upcoming battle. A victorious MMA fighter raises his arms in celebration after winning a match. A referee stands beside him, acknowledging the win. The crowd's reaction underscores the importance of this achievement, mirroring the stakes for Makhachev and Garry at UFC 330. In a dynamic moment from a UFC fight, one fighter delivers a high kick to another. The intensity and skill required are evident in their expressions. This reflects the level of competition Makhachev and Garry will experience when they clash in the octagon. A shirtless male fighter in an MMA match displays a focused expression and a fighting stance. This image captures the readiness and determination essential in the sport, qualities both Makhachev and Garry must possess in their high-stakes encounter. A fighter stands in the ring, looking focused and determined. His tattoos and short hair suggest his readiness and commitment to the match ahead. This mirrors the mental and physical preparation Makhachev and Garry are undergoing for their upcoming showdown. During a weigh-in event for a UFC fight, a fighter flexes his muscles, showcasing his physique and confidence. This moment exemplifies the preparation and pride felt by fighters, sentiments that Makhachev and Garry embody as they prepare for UFC 330. A victorious fighter celebrates in the octagon after a match, with tattoos and a bloodied face. The crowd in the background highlights the dramatic nature of the sport and the physical trials Makhachev and Garry will face in their upcoming battle. A shirtless fighter in a boxing stance, wearing gloves and shorts, appears focused in the octagon. The blurred audience in the background emphasizes the intensity of the moment, a feeling that will no doubt resonate during Makhachev and Garry's face-off. Islam Makhachev's confidence leading up to UFC 330 isn't just bravado. With 28 wins and only one loss, his track record speaks for itself. He's dismissing the notion of national rivalries and focusing on what he sees as a straightforward fight. But is it all that simple? His jab at Oliveira, suggesting that Garry's training won't be enough, raises questions. Is this a tactical move to unsettle Garry, or is Makhachev genuinely not concerned about Oliveira's influence? The psychological games in MMA are just as intense as the physical battles. Charles Oliveira's involvement in training Ian Garry adds an interesting dynamic to this fight. Oliveira, having faced Makhachev before, knows his strengths and weaknesses. But does this give Garry an edge, or is it merely a psychological boost? Makhachev's comment about Oliveira teaching Garry to tap fast is a reminder of their history. Will Garry be able to use this training to his advantage, or is Makhachev right in being dismissive? The layers of strategy and mind games in this matchup are what make it so compelling. How much of a factor do you think Oliveira's role will play? Who do you think will come out on top at UFC 330? Let us know in the comments. Stay tuned for our in-depth analysis of UFC 330 post-fight.